Welcome to Sudbury Sports Unbiased, your source for no-spin coverage of the Sudbury Wolves, Sudbury Five, Sudbury Cubs, and Sudbury Cyclones, with Rick and Craig. Hello sports fans, Craig here, and today is the second game of Canada's World Cup campaign against Qatar at 6 p.m. in Vancouver. We're going to preview that game. We're going to give you our projected starting 11, and we're going to give you some random thoughts as Canada moves on in Group B. Sports fans, today is a big day for Canada, and it's a big day specifically for Canadian soccer. On the first game of the tournament against Bosnia-Herzegovina, we called it the biggest day in the history of soccer in Canada. Well, I'm going to slightly revise that prediction. Today is probably the biggest day in Canadian soccer history. In front of Canada lies the challenge of Qatar, a team that had a surprise 1-1 draw against group favorite Switzerland in match day 1. Canada had trouble adapting to the pomp and circumstance of Toronto. A slow start in the first half. Bosnia-Herzegovina gets a goal. Canada comes back in the second half on a goal by Kyle Larin, and they salvage a 1-1 draw. Result is all four teams in the group are tied at 1 point each. Today is an opportunity for Canada to break the logjam, and if things go well, they have an opportunity to move to the front of the group and perhaps move on virtually to the knockout stage of the tournament. So let's look at Canada. As I said in my Match 1 postscript, Canada looks to be getting healthier, and that's what I'm getting from the pre-game vibes that come from Jesse Marsch. Alphonso Davies is available to play. The million-dollar question is, will Alphonso Davies play? I'm not sure he will play unless Canada gets into a situation where they need a goal in the late second half. Then I think he will see the pitch. If Canada goes ahead, I think Alphonso Davies will stay on the bench. Moise Bombito is also coming back from injury, and apparently Coach Jesse Marsch says that he is doing well, and he could be ready to start the next game against Switzerland. He is available to play. I'm not so sure if Bombito plays, but I think there's a better probability that Bombito plays instead of Davies. The reason I say that is if Canada gets a lead in the second half, they may want to change their formation, and they may want to bring in an extra center back. I can see Bombito coming off the bench for a 20-minute cameo, and that will serve a couple of purposes. One, hopefully to protect the Canadian lead, and secondly, to see exactly how fit Bombito is. So those are the two big pieces of injury news. One other small piece of news, defender Alfie Jones is not available. He has a pulled muscle. Who knows when he will be back? But other than that, Canada is apparently at full strength, everyone available to play in this match. So what does Qatar bring? Qatar brings a team that will defend resolutely, and they will look to come off the counterattack. And that's exactly what they did against Switzerland. They scored a late goal in the second half, and they pulled off a stunning 1-1 draw. I see Qatar with a similar game plan in this game, sitting back, daring Canada to break them down in their box, and trying to take advantage of a Canadian mistake or get them on a counterattack. Qatar does not have a great offense, and I think Canada will know that. What do I see as far as Jesse Marsch, as far as his starting 11? Do I see any changes from the team that took the field against Bosnia-Herzegovina? I don't see a lot of change, so let's go through the starting 11. Goaltender will be Max Crepeau. The defenders will be Alistair Johnston, Richie Larea, Derek Cornelius, and Luc de Fougerolles. I do see one change on the wing, and I see Ali Ahmed starting in place of Liam Miller. Tajon Buchanan will have the other spot on the other wing. These wingers will need to be dynamic in today's game. The front two has been the source of much speculation. Jonathan David did not play well against Bosnia-Herzegovina, and it took a goal from substitute Kyle Larin to salvage things for Canada. Don't know who is going to start, but I have a funny feeling that it's going to be Jonathan David and his old buddy Kyle Larin who will be the starters today. Jesse Marsch said in his pre-match preview that he will look to do more link-up plays, and that means you may see more interaction with passes from the strikers around the box. I think that Jonathan David and Larin are the preferable two for that purpose. So that's why I see them as the starting strikers today. What does Canada have to do to beat Qatar? Well, what they have to do is they have to take advantage of what they didn't take advantage of in match day one, and that is use their speed from the flanks in a more effective way. Tajon Buchanan did not have an effective game. He was not able to penetrate against defenders. Liam Miller was useless. Ali Ahmed will come off the bench and he will start. I think he's more of a direct player. He prefers to go inside just as adeptly as he goes outside. And I see Ali Ahmed being the kind of player that will try to penetrate the middle, and he may look to find his strikers on a combination play. He is capable of beating a defender one-on-one. I also see Canada passing the ball around more and looking for a direct opportunity off a combination play in the box. Jesse Marsh spilled the tea, and I'm going to go with that. Canada will look to have passing plays in the middle of the box. They will try to move the Qatari defense around, and they'll look to capitalize on opportunities. How do I see this game playing out? Well, first of all, Canada seems a lot more relaxed in match day two, and that is a big factor. I think that game one, the hoopla, the pomp, the circumstance, the opening ceremony, I think it got them off their game, and it got them thinking about other things other than trying to win the game. And sometimes that's what happens when things get in people's head. They try not to lose instead of trying to win. And I think that Vancouver is a good place for them. They seem to be a lot more relaxed. And the other factor is they play well in Vancouver. They don't play there often, but when they do play there, they play well. The last time they played in Vancouver was in the Gold Cup 2025, and they thrashed Honduras 6-0. I don't know if they're going to score 6 goals today, but I do think that this will be a welcome venue change for the team. And I do think Canada will score some goals in this contest. I just don't see Canada being shut out today. I see them scoring at least 2 goals in this game. 2 goals, I think, will be the absolute minimum. Canada, I think, really needs to come out on their front foot. They need to press the action from the outset. And if they can get a goal or maybe even 2 in the first half, they'll force the Qataris out of their game plan to defend the box, and they may score a few more goals. The Qataris, not a great offensive team. I don't see them troubling Canada, maybe off a set piece. Canada's set piece defending last game was not good. They're going to need to improve that. One other factor that is relevant in this game is that Alistair Johnston and Luc de Fougerolles are on yellow cards. This is a factor because if one of them gets another yellow card, they will be suspended for the next game against Switzerland. That may be one reason that Jesse Marsh is saying that Alphonso Davies and Moise Bombito may be available off the bench. It may be to get these guys with yellow cards, give them a little less pressure and some breathing room going into the third match of the group. So how do I see this turning out today? Well, I'll give you a simple and basic prediction. Canada scores at least 1 goal in the first half. They score another goal in the second half. And I really do believe today will be the day that Max Crepeau will get a clean sheet. That's the soccer terminology for a shutout. My prediction, Canada 2, Qatar 0. Canada, will it move to the top of the group? Well, that will depend what happens between Switzerland and Bosnia-Herzegovina. Canada will have the advantage of knowing the result of that game before they hit the pitch. And I think that is not an insignificant piece of an advantage for the Canadian team. We will have a post-match reaction as we look at Game 2 and we look ahead to Game 3 against Switzerland. If you like what you're hearing, hit like and subscribe. And as we always say, let the sports be with you.